Hello everyone, welcome to this video where we are required to solve this particular question. And let's see what information is given, shall we? So there's this point A with the coordinates 2, 6. Let's look at the y coordinate is the same. That means for point B, right? They have the same y coordinate, meaning 6. Well, as for the x coordinate is 2 more than that of A. That means since A is 2, 2 more than 2, yep, it is simply 2 plus 2. So this one will be equals to 4. And we are done with part A. Part B, write down the equation of this line AB. If you don't already know, we notice that it has the same y coordinate, right? Actually, the answer is y equals to 6. But if you don't already know, perhaps it is good at this point to just do a rough sketch. And if I have this point 2, this is 6. This will be my point A. And 4 is somewhere here. You do notice that it is actually a horizontal line. And for horizontal line, the equation is y equals to 6 because the gradient is actually equals to 0. Okay? So in this case here, we do expect you to be able to identify the equation of a horizontal line immediately. Alright? Let's move on to the next question. Given an equation with gradient m, what is the value of m? So, of great things to take note of would be to take note that for any equation of a line, when we are able to express in this form, y equals to mx plus c, this will be my gradient, m, and this coefficient of x has to be such that it is y equals to mx plus c, not 2y. In this case, I see a 2y. So I am going to divide by 2 throughout. So 5 divided by 2 is 5 over 2. 4x divided by 2. So I would have negative 4 over 2 is negative 2x. 5 over 2, I'm going to just simply write it as positive 5 over 2. And from here, I saw my value of m already, isn't it? So therefore, m is equals to negative 2. Alright, let's move on to the next question. Hello everyone, welcome to this question. Now, we are given a few pieces of information. Distance is 5 units. We are also given 2 points. And I would then like to just highlight that this will be my x1, y1 and my x2, y2. So that we have the formula. The distance formula is such that it is the square root of x1 minus x2 or x2 minus x1 bracket square, y2 minus y1 bracket square. This one is equals to the distance. So now all we have to do is to just substitute in. So distance is 5 And for this part here, I would then have my k minus 2 bracket square 0 minus negative 3 bracket square. And if I do not want the square root, then I would have it as, let me just do it slow and steady, okay? 0 minus negative 3 bracket square. This will give me a value of positive 9. And let's continue to solve it. If I do not want the square root, I square both sides, so that you will have 5 square. That will eliminate the square root. So slow and steadily, I will eventually get my answer pretty fast. 5 square is 25. As I continue to solve this, so k minus 2 bracket square is equals to 25. I'm going to minus 9 on both sides, so that here no more 9. And that will actually give me 25 minus 9 will be 16. And so, my k minus 2, if I do not want the square, I square root. And when we do that, there's either a positive or a negative square root. And in this case here, square root 16 is actually equals to 4. So we have found our 2 possible answers for k. K is either equals to 6 or k is equals to negative 2. Alright, with that we have come to the end of solving for this particular question, and let's continue to the next question. Hello everyone, welcome to this video where we are required to first find the gradient given 2 points. So straight away, right, I'm going to zoom in and just label it x1, y1, x2, y2, and I'm going to just apply the formula. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This will give me 7 minus negative 3, 5 minus 2. And then using the calculator, this will give me a value of 10 over 3. Alright, so that will be the answer for the first part. Calculate the length of MN again. So the length and distance is the same, meaning that I could simply make use of this formula. And therefore, substituting in, then you will get 5 minus 2 bracket square plus 7 minus negative 3 bracket square, and I square root the whole thing. So this will give me a square root of 109, which is equals to 10.4403. This is to 6 sig fig followed by 3 sig fig answer, 10.4 units. with that, we have come to the end of this particular problem. So if you like this video at this point in time, do feel free to subscribe and like the video. Let's move on to the next question. Hello everyone, welcome to this video where we are given 4 different sketches of the graph and we are required to match the correct equation for the graph. Okay? So, for the first graph, I saw that it is actually a straight line graph. So, straight line graph will look something like this, where the power of x is equal to 1. So that's something I would look out for, where the power of x is equals to 1. So as I look through all the equation, I saw the one that fits the bill, where the power of x is equals to 1. So this has to be my linear graph. For this particular graph here, the shape is that of the cubic graph. So the power is 3. As I look through the options given, there's only one particular equation that fits the bill. So that will be the answer for part B. For part C, for this graph, the shape is such that it looks like for the power is -2, or if I rewrite this equation, it will, with x as the denominator, then the power will be +2 if it is expressed as a denominator. So looking through all the options, I realized that this has to be the answer. And for the last one, it is a quadratic graph. So the power is 2. And for all the options right, this is the only option where the power is 2. With that, we have come to the end of this question. Let's move on to the next question. Hello everyone, welcome to this video where we are given a grid and a line that intersect x and y axis at P and Q. So this is our line L that is being drawn on the graph. Well, write down the coordinates of P and Q. P is here, where the x is 2 and y is 0. So 2, 0. My Q is here, where my x is 0 and my y is -3. Point R has coordinates k, -6. And there is an important clue that is going to be given here. The gradient of PQ and the gradient of QR is equal. So step 1, obviously we will then have to find the gradient of both, right? So I will then, with this, I will then be able to find the gradient of PQ easily. It will be my x1, y1, x2, y2, so that I will have my y2 minus y1. I substitute the values in neatly. -3 minus 0, 0 minus 2, and the gradient will be 3 over 2. Then, with my Q as 0 and negative 3, and my R is given as K and negative 6, I will then be able to form another equation here. Okay, I'm going to use green color. So this will be my x1, y1, x2, y2. So my gradient for QR is therefore equal to, I can write it here. Same thing, y2 minus y1, so I will have negative 6 minus negative 3, k minus 0. So this one will give me a value of negative 3 over k. And because they are equal, so I can then form an equation now with 3 over 2 is equal to negative 3 over k. Then I can do my algebraic manipulation. I multiply k throughout, I will have 3k. Multiply by 2 throughout, I will have negative 3 times 2, negative 6. And I'm going to divide by 3. So I will then from here be able to get the value of k. And this will be the solution for this particular problem. Let's continue to the next question. Hello everyone, welcome to this question where we are given a line that is parallel to y equals to 4x plus 6. The moment I see a information that says parallel lines, then this is something for us to take note as we zoom in for part A. Parallel lines have same gradient. And therefore, I will be able to see that from here, the 4 actually is our gradient. So we have m equals to 4 already. It passes through the point P. Find the equation. So point P here I will have x and y. So to find equation of a line, all we have to do is to substitute my gradient, m, in this case is 4, and the point P, which is 1 and 5, in this will be my x and y, into y equals to mx plus c. This is my m, this is my x, and this is my y. So once we do that, you will then see this. So I will then be able to get my c easily. Yeah? 5 minus 4. And so from here, I will be able to get my c. C will be equals to positive 1. So my final answer, y equals to 4, x and positive 1. Moving on to part B, then they tell me that there's this point where line T cuts the x-axis. So if I were to do a rough sketch, right, of this line T, from the previous part, I would have gathered that the y-intercept is 1. And there's this line positive gradient. So this is my line T. And then, where is the point where it cuts the x-axis? Yep, this point here. And at this point, the y is equals to 0. So all we have to do in this case here, we just need to substitute y as 0 into the equation. And that will actually help us to find the answer. So 0 is equals to 4x plus 1. So I will have my 0 minus 1 equals to 4x. So it will be negative 1 equals to 4x. And final answer, I divide by 4. So since they asked about coordinates, I'm going to leave my answer in coordinates form. With that, we have come to the end of this particular problem. And let's continue to the next question. Hello everyone, welcome to this video where we are given a table of values for an equation. We are required later on to draw this graph and to find some answers from the graph. So let's zoom into part A, okay? So to get this particular question and this answer here, all we have to do, we substitute in the equation, the x as negative 1. Do notice that Mr. Tan actually put a bracket, and after which we just need to make use of our calculator. This should give us 6. And we are done with part A. As for part B, now it's just to plot all the points given this table of values. So negative 3 and y is 3 will be here. When x is negative 2, y is 4. Negative 1, y is 6. So 0 and 6. When x is 1, y is 4. When x is 2, y is 0. And 3 and negative 6, so I'm going to shift it down here. Okay, so next thing is of course to just do a nice sketch to this particular problem, alright? You should draw a curve like this. And at this point, we'll go slightly up before it slowly shifts down. And continue to shift down. Okay, and do indicate the equation of the line. Okay, so this will be y equals to 6 minus x squared. Okay, and we are done with part B. Part C. Draw the line y equals to 5. This one happens to be a, please remember, this is going to be our horizontal line. All horizontal lines start with y equals to something, and therefore I'm going to pull out my ruler. And I'm going to just zoom in, so this will be my y equals to 5. This is for my part C. Okay. Done. Part D, use the graph that you have plotted to find the x coordinate where the two graphs intersect, which will be here and here, and therefore I will be able to get this particular graph out, the x coordinate. Let's just zoom in, and you'll be able to get the answer pretty fast. Here and here. So I'll get two answers. One is negative 1.6 here, and this one will be 0.6. So going back to the question, that's where I will write it down, my answer. And part E, we need to draw this tangent line at x equals to 1. Okay, so this means that I have to go back to this particular graph again and to draw that tangent line to find the gradient. Okay, and so at this particular point, that's where I am going to draw that tangent. Alright, so let me make sure that the tangent line, okay, this red color will be my tangent line. And we just need to find 2 points on this tangent line in order for us to find the gradient. So I'm going to make use of this point here, which would be 0, 7, and perhaps this point here, 2, 1. So coming back to here now, with these 2 points, I will then be able to find the gradient, which will be equals to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This will give me negative 3. And that sums up this particular question. Let's move on to the next question. Hello everyone, welcome to this problem where we are given a diagram where points A, B and C are being plotted. Find the gradient of AC. So if I zoom in to this particular question, then point A is pretty straightforward. I get the coordinates negative 2, 5. Point C will be 3, 0. These 2 points. And using these 2 coordinates, I will then be able to get my gradient. So usually I also like to just write it here as well, so that it is easier for us to refer to. So my gradient of this AC will then be equals to, remember, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I would then have, so it's my x1 y1, x2 y2. So I'll have 0 minus 5 over 3 minus negative 2. And this will give me a value of negative 1. And that will be the answer for part A. And with this gradient and knowing this particular point here is the y-intercept, then I will then be able to get my C. Okay, 3. Therefore, y equals to mx plus c, right? So in this case here, y equals to gradient of AC is here, -1 x. C is what we have observed from the diagram itself, +3. And that would be the answer here. Now, for the equation of line AB, which happens to be a vertical line, then for all vertical line AB, very importantly, please take note, this is a vertical line. Then, no working is required. This happened at the point where x is -2. Calculate the area of triangle ABC. So in this case here, do notice for this particular triangle, I hope you remember that the height and the base must be 90 degrees. So if I have the base here as 3 units, then my height here will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. So the area is simply half times base times height. And last but not least, points A, B, C, and D are vertices of a parallelogram. Write down 2 possible pairs of this point D. And so, given this diagram here, right, then we could actually draw try to find this particular point, right? I could actually find it here, because then I will have a parallelogram here. Yep. So this is the first possible answer, where x is 3, y is 3. This is my first possible answer. As for my second possible answer, I would then use another color. I'll use black color then. Then I can actually do this, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And this is another possible value of D, where A, B, C, D are points on a parallelogram. So in this case, it can be 3, y is -3. Yeah? And so, these are the 2 possible answers. I'm going to just write it down at the side here. It's either 3, -3, or 3, 3. And with that, we have come to the end of this particular question. So if you like this whole video, do click on the like button and remember to subscribe.